Everybody, 5 minutes. Hello, biddies. How are you today? Welcome to the stream. Um, no, I said I'd be back yesterday afternoon. Well, obviously that didn't happen, so we're doing the other half of yesterday right now. Um, Yesterday turned into a no good, very bad, horrible day. Um, I'm gonna experiment later, and I think I can show you what I'm talking about. So anyway, I'm just gonna get into this, I guess. This is Best of Redditor updates entitled Dog Bit Home Intruder, Intruder's Mother Threatening to Sue for Medical Costs. Um, the original post was August 2017, but this was highly upvoted. Actually, it was the most upvoted? No, second most upvoted for August. Um, Throw away for obvious reasons. I live in an older home, a stone's throw away from a frat row in a party school town, college town. Just over a year ago, a college student drunkenly entered my house via throwing his weight at my 150-year-old wooden door around 1 a.m. When he entered, he woke us up and startled our large dog, who was most likely sleeping on the floor by the front door. The dog bit him, drew blood, and college student needed stitches. When we heard him entering our home, we called the police, who did a great job of coming quickly. They administered medical care to him, and one of the officers took him to the ER while another got a statement from us. We pulled out our vaccine records for the dog, gave him the name of the vet, and so on. Um, I mean, the guy's lucky that the cops took him to the ER because that saved him an ambulance ride. Um, the next day, they called us to let us know they had checked with the vet and everything about our dog was shipshape, and the dog obviously contained appropriately and has no bite record. So they didn't impound him or anything and chalked it up to doggy justice. Yay for doggy justice. They dealt with the student too and communicated with us throughout the process. After all the court dates, he received a fine and a misdemeanor. We did not attempt to escalate as college student was drunk and stupid and had no prior record, and hopefully learned from the experience and our dog. Door and frame got replaced and strengthened with another lock. We have no idea how brittle that door was. This week, over a year later, we got a letter from the lawyer representing the student and his mom saying we can settle for the cost of the dog bite expenses, which they did not itemize or send a copy of the bill or anything, just put a number on a letter, or they will sue us for the cost plus legal fees. My husband and I can't see how this can possibly hold up in court, considering he was technically breaking and entering and did not receive and did receive a misdemeanor for that. My question is, do we even need a lawyer for this, or can we just say see you in court and represent ourselves with a copy of the police report from the break and enter? We are sort of regretting letting it go easily now. Ugh. Can he possibly sue us for the cost of stitches and ER bill when he was criminally trespassing in our house and breaking our door down? It's not like our dog was outside running around unsupervised or even on a leash or something. He's not an aggressive dog at all and has never before and never since bit anyone. I feel like he and his mom watched one of those ambulance chasing lawyer commercials and took the bait. Unfortunately, many times, you can be responsible if something happens in your home, even if somebody is there uninvited. Relevant replies. Or can we just say, see you in court and represent ourselves? Representing yourself is a bad idea, even in case of otherwise open and shut. This case, you're not yet being sued, so you don't have to do anything. You should inform your homeowner's insurance of the letter. They will likely handle it from here. How can he possibly sue us for the cost of stitches and ER bill when he was criminally trespassing in our house and breaking our door down? He was trespassing, doesn't automatically excuse everything that happened. It's entirely possible for you to both to have been wrong. For him for the B&E, you for having a dangerous dog or something. Your particular situation doesn't seem like that from your retelling, but such things aren't terribly uncommon. Um, if you got probation, I would send a letter to his probation officer. They tend to frown on criminals trying to shake down their victims and tell your dog what a good boy he is. I'm not gonna. So there is an edit. I'm hesitant to say where I live because it becomes way too easy to Google if I do. Edit 2. Whoa, there's a lot of responses. Thanks for the advice, everyone. At this point, we've made up our minds to speak to the lawyer we've had from the initial case last year. We'll call him on Monday and update after the conversation. Some answers to questions. We are the homeowners. We paid out of pocket for the replacement door and door frame. We also replaced our side and rear doors with frames and matching doors when we realized how easy it was to get into our house by forcing the door. This cost was in the low five figures. We took it out of our emergency fund and did not go through homeowners. There was a restitution order, but it was not enough to cover the doors we wanted, labor, and door frames. We live in a historic home and wanted to keep the character. That's fair. We have lived in a historic home most of our marriage, so we know how to keep cash on hand for pipe leaks, furnaces going out, and now door replacements. We tell our dog he is a good boy every day. Don't you worry, he is the goodest boy. Edit 3. I can't figure out how to get those asterisks to look like bullet points. What am I doing wrong? Uh, comments. As sometimes people cut strangers some slack. Being drunk and stupid and is a near universal experience, although violent B and E is generally not. Still, I can understand feeling like bite plus fine misdemeanor is enough for someone who wasn't otherwise violent. There's being a second comment. There's being drunk and stupid, and then there's breaking down a stranger's door in the middle of the night. Third answer to that comment. Sure, which at which point his hand was lacerated by a dog bite. He was arrested and sentenced to both a fine and a kind of some kind of restitution. He could have pushed for more, but they said, well, that's okay. It's probably even for the shock for the cost of the door. You are free to disagree, but I don't think OP's choice was unreasonable. Update August 16th, 2017, 4 days later. Update. Dog bit home and true. Oh, okay. That's just a quick update to this. It was easily handled. We met with our lawyer on Monday and paid him outright to draft a letter and include documentation of fault, basically the police report, restitution order, court documents, etc., and also the vet records that include the police check-in and vaccine records for the dog. My vet wrote down when the police called him and why, and they called him, and my lawyer's secretary grabbed a copy of that for this. Why he is included in this, I don't know, but if anyone has any ideas, it would why this would be important, let me know. He did not want to include the bills and orders for the door at this time, but took a copy in case we needed to move further. This morning, the student's mom's lawyer sent the initial letter called our lawyer and said that the family would no longer be pursuing restitution for medical expenses and that we could expect a letter from him stating that we would arrive at both the lawyer's office and our house within the next week. Turns out those of you who guessed it, the student didn't tell his mom why and how he got bit by our dog are probably correct. It wasn't explicitly said during the phone call, but my lawyer relayed that he could infer from the way the conversation went with the other lawyer went. This probably made his top 10 stupid cases list. Yeah, I can imagine what his mom must have thought when she got all the paperwork. It's like, oh, you broke into their house, did you? Okay. Uh, this is also a best of Redditor update. I think they mixed my DNA up with someone else's. That could get you in trouble. So this was originally posted on August 19th of this year, 2025. I purchased a DNA kit back in April of this year. The first test they lost, and now I got my second one, and they mixed it up, and customer support isn't being helpful, saying this is what came from my DNA results. Results. A little bit of my background. I was born in Baghdad, Iraq, in 2006, 3 years after the invasion, and government and hospitals were very backed up. Adoption is very, if I think they mean very rare. They missed a word. Adoption is very rare, if not unheard of, in Iraq, especially where the test is saying I'm from. I don't look like I'm from any of the places listed. What do I do, and what do I tell the support team? And then there's an image of the ancestry results, which I don't know how to do that yet. I'm gonna work on that this afternoon. One commenter, downloaded commenter, said, "You're adopted, and when you say you don't look like the results you are referring to, that you have pale skin, so that's from the Spanish part." OOP, I'm not pale at all, and I also don't know how Native American. I'm not pale at all, and also I don't know how Native American Hispanic child could be adopted in Iraq in 2006. Commenter, do you recognize any of your matches? OOP, I have no idea who any of these people are. Could you be adopted? No, I really doubt I was adopted. I look exactly like my mom right now, and when my dad was younger, he looked just like me. Top commenter, have you ever been a bone marrow recipient? OOP, yes. Answer, that's it. You're seeing the DNA of the person who donated. Unfortunately, you can't get an accurate test results because of this. Test one of your siblings instead. OOP, thanks so much. And then there's some other comments. OOP's update post 2 hours later. All right, I figured out why my Iraqi background came out to be Mexican. Funny story. I had chemotherapy as a kid for thalassemia, Thalessimia. Oh, I don't know what that is. Let's find out. That's I don't know how to pronounce it. Thalassemia beta thalassemia thalassemia beta major. It's a severe form of an inherited blood disorder caused by mutations in both HBB genes, leading to a lack of beta globin chains and severe anemia. Bone marrow transplant is the only cure. Things are looking good on gene therapy, though. It's inherited. It's a mutation. Both parents have to have it. Childhood symptoms are severe anemia, pale or yellowish skin, fussiness and poor appetite, frequent infections, swollen belly due to an enlarged spleen and liver, weak, misshapen bones in the face, arms, and slow growth. That does not sound fun. Okay, so he had a bone marrow transplant. He received a bone marrow transplant, obviously, as a child. So I'm pretty sure that's what caused it because they asked me the question on the app before I submitted it. Y'all had me questioning if I was adopted. LOL. Top comment. That's so interesting. I donated my bone marrow, and I remember my doctor telling me that if my donee committed a crime, the DNA would be mine. In an answer to that, imagine going through the dehumanizing process of being arrested and interrogated only to find out that it was because of the person you donated part of your body to. And somebody suggested you might want to turn off matches not to create family drama for your donor. For sure. Yeah, so that's really interesting. Like medical stuff is fascinating sometimes. I'm glad they have a cure for that. It's good. I hope they get the gene therapy stuff going because that would cure a lot of things. Last one for right now, and I will be back later. I'm not going anywhere else today, so I will not be wrecking my car again. Um, this is from Malicious Compliance, and it's entitled "Managers had no phones during work hours, period, so I stopped answering his calls." Seems reasonable. I work IT support for a medium sized company. We've always been allowed to have our phones at our desks. Sometimes family emergencies happen, doctors call back, whatever. As long as we're not scrolling social media all day, nobody cared. New manager comes in last month. Why is it always the new manager? Why? New manager comes in last month, sees one person checking a text and loses it, sends out an email. All caps, effective immediately. No personal phones during work hours. They must be left in your car or locker. This means not 9 to 5. Capital, all caps. No exceptions. Anyone caught with a phone will be written up. That sounds reasonable. Okay, sure, boss. And the thing is, our manager works from home 3 days a week, and when the server issues pop up after hours or on weekends, guess how he contacts us? That's right, our personal phones. We don't have company phones. Friday afternoon at 4:45 p.m., major server issue. I see it. I could fix it in 10 minutes. But my phone is in the car as per policy. I calmly finish my work at 5 o'clock and walk out. By the time I get to my car and check my phone at 5:15, I have 17 missed calls and a string of increasingly panicked texts from my manager. The server has been down for 30 minutes. Multiple departments can't do anything. It is really frustrating when your server goes down, especially when it's going down on purpose and your boss doesn't tell you. Yeah, that's happened to me multiple times. Luckily, we would just go, "Hey, boss, you could warn us next time." By the time I get to my oh, wait, I already read that. I call him back and say, "Hey, I just got to my car and saw your calls. What's up?" He's furious. Malding? I've never heard that word before. Malding? Malding? Oh, it's slang. It's mad and balding. Someone who is so angry, frustrated, or enraged that they seem like they actually might lose their hair. Okay, learned a new word today. Always good. Malding and seething. Asked why I didn't answer, I reminded him about the no phones policy. He said that's different. This was an emergency. I pointed out his email said no exceptions, and I was just following policy to avoid a write up. Monday morning, new email. Personal phones are permitted at desk for emergency purposes. Back to normal then. I mean, there are um some places where you probably shouldn't have a phone. Construction, nursing, or anything else to do with high stress medical situations, things like that. Most people need their have their I mean, they need access to their phones. Anything could happen. I called my husband at work yesterday because it was an emergency. Called my son, who was also at work. He's in construction. He's the boss, so it's okay. It's all right. You don't have to do the phone thing. You don't have to do the draconian no phones at your desk. It's silly. Depending on your job, you might have a lot of downtime. My last job, I had a lot of downtime. Everybody used their phones. Even the bosses were on their phones, scrolling TikTok and watching movies on Netflix. It happens. It happens. All right. I will be back later to entertain you, hopefully. Hopefully I'm entertaining. Probably not, but that's okay. Um, take care. And I will experiment with a few things to see if I can figure out if I can show you what happened yesterday. Bye, biddies. And remember, don't gossip about your friends. Gossip about strangers on the internet.